Alright fellas, today we're sharing you the top 10 new hairstyles for men that'll be insanely popular in 2019 and 2020. Don't get us wrong though, a lot of these styles were popular previously, so if you're already rocking one of them, you're in the clear. But don't be afraid to try something new this time around, because the thing is, all of these hairstyles are interchangeable with each other and can actually be combined to help you create a truly unique and fresh look. So whether you already know what you want or are completely clueless as to what hairstyle is right for you, this video should help you find some inspiration, which will allow you to sculpt your mane into a masterpiece. So without further ado, here are the top 10 new hairstyles for men in 2019 and 2020. Number 10, the crew cut. Before you think every hairstyle in the modern age has to make you look like a paintbrush, you couldn't be more wrong. That's because the crew cut is a short to medium length style that's usually accompanied with a high fade and can be accomplished with pretty much any type of hair. Straight hair, curly hair, wavy hair, frizzy hair, thin hair. The crew cut is a versatile chop that's super low maintenance. So if you absolutely despise any sort of daily ritual when it comes to your hair, the crew cut will allow you to ditch the pomade and rock your bedhead, just as long as you keep it a little shorter. Plus, this style works well with pretty much all face types, but it's best suited for square-faced men. For those of you without a square jaw and a more rounder face, a crew cut will still work, but you'll have to have more length on top to help your face look more narrow, and in some cases, a lower fade. One that takes longer to get shorter will actually work best at keeping your face symmetrical. All in all, the crew cut is a safe bet and will look great even without spending an hour in front of the mirror. Plus, it's a lady killer when accompanied by a beard. Number 9, the angular fringe. The angular fringe is a relatively newer hairstyle that you don't see too often, but will definitely see this year and next. And if you're the type of guy with a bunch of weird colics, it might be your best bet. That's because the angular fringe is cut at, well, an angle, and a good barber will cut it with your colics in mind, which will make styling your new do way easier. All you have to do is follow the waves. And while it's a longer on the top, short on the side style, much like those quiffs and pompadours you couldn't escape from last season, the angular fringe is most notably styled to sit over your forehead instead of swooped up above it. And since the hairstyle is so stylishly unusual and often textured, you can get away with it not being exactly how it looked the day you hopped out of the barber's chair. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't go full bedhead with this one. In fact, the angular fringe definitely takes some time to sculpt to get it to where you want it. Luckily, it works for most facial structures and hair types, but just like every hairstyle, your hair may not be suited for the one specific look you want to have. Regardless, the angular fringe is extremely versatile and can be combined with some of the other styles on this list. So if you're looking to try something new this year, the angular fringe is a bold statement that will definitely turn heads. Number 8, the quiff. When we mention paintbrush hair, this is what we're talking about. The thick, voluminous hairstyles that take a lot of work to maintain. The reason hairstyles like these are so popular is because what kind of woman doesn't love running her hands through a man's thick mane? The quiff is essentially a mating tool that shows women that you have at least some good genes, your hair. And if we were birds, it'd be the equivalent of having the brightest plumage. So if you're fortunate enough to be able to pull off 3 to 5 inches of lusciously thick hair, by all means go for it, because the quiff is quickly becoming a timeless classic that consistently looks sexy and professional. And for those of you with wavy hair, it's possibly one of the most stylish do's you can get. Curly haired gentlemen won't have much luck with it, and oval-shaped faces are definitely the best suited for it, although any facial structure will work. But if you can meet the criteria to pull it off and dedicate the time in the morning to making it look full and styled, the quiff is a seriously smart choice in 2019. Number 7. Try-dye. If you're tired of the same old hair color you've been stuck with since birth, it may be time to dye it. Dyed hair has been increasingly popular over the last couple of decades, but in 2019 and 2020, the most popular colors are the ones that actually make you look older. Platinum blonde, gray, and even pure white hair colors are increasing in popularity for men lately. And if your base color is of the darker shade, the contrast between light and dark is a surprisingly stylish choice that works. Don't get us wrong, it takes a bold man that's wildly confident to pull it off and not feel insecure about completely changing his hair color. But if you're the type of man who's looking to make an adventurous change this season, dyeing might be exactly what you're looking for. Number 6, the classic side part. Fashion is cyclical, which means that certain styles that were popular 40 plus years ago come right back into the limelight in the modern age. And while we don't expect parachute pants to ever become popular again, the side part hairstyle never really became unpopular because it is a truly timeless classic that's been around for over 100 years. It's just undergone minor alterations over time to make it look more modern. The beauty of the side part is that it's ideal for any man who wants to have a more professional look about him, because not only does it look professional in and of itself, if you can't grow a beard, it's the perfect look for you, because traditionally, beards were considered unprofessional, and much of that sentiment is still found in today's corporate offices. Plus, it's versatile enough that it works for literally any hair and face type. Short side parts look just as good as long side parts if they're styled correctly, and wavy or curly hair works just as well as straight hair when parted to the side. And the best part, styling only takes a few minutes of combing both sides of the part away from the part. It's simple. You'll need a generous dab of wax to make sure your hair sits still, but other than that, it's just a quick comb and you're off to the races, looking like James Bond. Have you found your new hairstyle for the 2019-2020 season? Well, don't go anywhere just yet. We still have 5 more hairstyles that might be perfect for you, so don't go anywhere just yet. Let's get back to the last 5, shall we? Number 5, the French crop. Another short style that doesn't require a ton of upkeep is the French crop, which can be manipulated in a number of different ways, and is essentially a take on the classic Caesar style from years past, just with a straight fringe at the front hairline. Characterized by a short length with a bit of texture and sometimes messiness on top, and plenty of room for improvisation on the sides and back fades, the French crop will keep your head cool and sexy looking in the summer months without much effort on your part. Furthermore, it fits all face and hair types and only needs a tiny amount of wax or pomade to stay fresh and in place. Pairing a French crop with a beard can have some truly remarkable results as well. If faded properly, it can create one seamless transition in and out from the top of your head to the bottom of your beard, and length is adaptable, enough to be spiked, swept, or straightened to be whatever you want it to be that day. Other than high and tight, the French crop requires the least amount of work. Number 4, the high and tight. We know what you're thinking. How can that super short hair be stylish at all? Well, with the right barber, anything is possible, especially a high and tight. This style is the #1 choice for military personnel for its simplicity and ease of maintenance. But when folks like David Beckham and Brad Pitt have rocked it, it's quickly becoming something more than just an army haircut with countless variations. Generally, a high and tight is more than an inch on top, and that's not where style comes into play. No, for a high and tight, style is all in the fade. And since you can do any number of things with a fade, like a hard part, undercut, high skin fade, or etch design, the high and tight is simply the easiest option for guys who want to look sharp without all the upkeep. Seriously, unless you keep the top longer than an inch, this hairstyle requires little to no product and mirror time. Unfortunately, a high and tight can look a little wonky on square-faced gentlemen, so those who fit the bill might want to avoid it. But since the hair is intentionally so short, curly, and wavy-haired men will have no problem looking fresh. And if you're going for that bad boy look, the high and tight is probably the baddest look of them all, especially if you're covered in tattoos. Number 3, the tapered cut. The thing about long on top, short on sides cuts, like almost all the other hairstyles on this list, is that most of them always use the fade. But the whole idea behind a tapered haircut is that it makes the fade less defined, if there's even a fade at all, and instead leaves the sides and back of the cut at a longer, more uniform length. The main difference of a tapered cut compared to other cuts is that the style is achieved with scissors instead of clippers, which gives it a more naturally grown look than a straight from the barbershop swagger. Generally, you're going to want to have a fair amount of hair on your head to get the taper cut just right. And sometimes it's most stylish if you leave the sides and back as long as the top, just as long as you've got the locks for it. And because it's a longer cut, you're free to do whatever you want with the top, like swoop it back, quiff it up, or comb it over. All in all, a taper cut is highly professional looking and is ideal for a man who consistently wears a suit. So if you want to look more businesslike in 2019, a tapered cut might be exactly what you want. Number 2, the hard part. The hard part isn't exactly a hairstyle as much as it is an upgrade to any style on this list, and it's become quite popular in 2018, which means it'll only be more popular this year and the next. So what is it? Well, a hard part is just that classic part we talked about back in number 6, but much thicker and more defined. And like we said, it can complement any of the hairstyles on this list. So if you're going for a shorter style, the high and tight or crew cut, the part is a nice addition, but never necessary. The same goes for the quiff and other longer styles. It can accentuate your look as a unique and bold stylistic choice. And that's the thing. Hard parts are bold statements that can amplify any number of styles. So if you're looking to make a statement this season, try a hard part and see where it takes you. Number 1. Let it grow. Man buns became extremely popular in the last decade, but they're slowly dying out and easy to make fun of these days. But that doesn't mean long hair went out of style, because the fact of the matter is, long hair has never not been stylish. So if none of the hairstyles on this list sound interesting to you, it might be time to say, to hell with it, and start growing your hair out with absolutely zero idea where it'll end up. Because like we said above, girls love guys with longer hair, just like how popular Jason Momoa has become. And it's not because he's super ripped. That long hair has a primal effect on women, and it's hard for them not to find it ridiculously sexy. We won't lie though, while growing your hair out, you're going to run into roughly a 6-month period where your longer hair will look a bit unusual. During this time, you'll ask yourself, God, have I made the right choice? But if you have the wherewithal to power through it, you'll realize you absolutely did. And after that half-year mark, you'll find that women miraculously find you more attractive and irresistible to look at, and you'll be getting more dates left and right. One caveat to longer hair is something women have probably already mentioned to you. It's much harder to keep cool with long hair. It's why women frequently put theirs in a ponytail. But once you've reached the point of shoulder length or longer hair, regardless of its frizziness or waviness, you're going to have an entirely different look about you that's highly attractive to women. Plus, whenever a girl asks if someone has a hair tie, you'll be the one to save the day. So if you're in no rush to find the perfect hairstyle this year, grow it out and get ready for 2020. Gentlemen, those are the top 10 hairstyles for men in 2019 and 2020 that are certain to give you a stronger sense of style. Be sure to subscribe for more videos on how to improve your style. This is Mantelligence. Thanks for watching.